Welcome. So today we're going to dive into the art of talking to AI. Look, if you've ever felt that frustration of getting generic, bland, or just plain wrong answers from your AI tools, then you are definitely in the right place. We are going to break down exactly how to craft prompts that give you truly amazing results. It's a feeling we've all had, right? You have access to this unbelievably powerful technology, but the output just feels flat, kind of lifeless. You ask for something creative, you get a Wikipedia summary. You ask for specific advice, and it spits back a fortune cookie. But here's a thought. What if the problem isn't the AI? What if it's how we're asking? Okay, here is the one simple mind shift that changes everything. Stop thinking of the AI as a search engine and start seeing it as a master chef. You're not just yelling an order into a busy kitchen. No, you are handing that chef a very detailed recipe. And the quality of that recipe is what completely determines the quality of the dish you get back. Let's just map this whole analogy out so it's crystal clear. The AI, obviously, that's our chef. The words we choose to use, those are the ingredients. The structure of our prompt, how we put it all together, that becomes the recipe itself. And the AI's response? Well, that's the final dish served up on a plate. It suddenly becomes so obvious that a well-structured recipe with high-quality ingredients is the only way you're going to get a brilliant result. So, here's the menu for today's explainer. We've just talked about the AI chef analogy. Next up, we're going to learn how to give our chef a specific role, then how to add that crucial ingredient of context. After that, we'll set some rules for the final dish. And finally, we'll get into the big idea that prompting is really a conversation. All right, let's get into our first big technique. Before you even tell the AI what you want, you need to tell it who it should be. This is kind of like deciding if you want a pastry chef, a grill master, or a specialist in French cuisine. It sets the entire tone for everything that follows. This whole technique is called role-based prompting, and it's just a simple but incredibly powerful act of giving the AI a persona right at the beginning of your prompt. You're basically giving it a mindset to adopt, a lens that it's going to view your entire request through. So take this example right here. Instead of just generically asking for career advice, you start with a command. Act as a career counselor. And right away, the AI's entire framework just shifts. It's not an information machine anymore. Now it's a specialist who's going to think about things like empathy, common challenges for young people, and even motivational language. So what's really happening here is fundamental. You're going from telling the AI what to think about to telling it how to think. And believe me, when you define the how first, the what that comes after becomes infinitely more focused, relevant, and useful. Okay, so you've picked your chef. Awesome. Now we've got to give them the right ingredients to work with. And in the world of prompting, our most important ingredient is context. Without it, our chef is basically just guessing what we want to eat. So what is context? Well, it's all that essential background detail the AI needs to understand your world. Who is this for? What's the situation? What's the real goal here? Giving it this information gets rid of all the guesswork and stops the AI from making unhelpful assumptions. Let's just build on that example from before. Just notice the massive difference when we add a few key details: the age, the field of study, and the location. Every single one of those pieces of context radically narrows the focus. It allows the AI to generate advice that is specific, culturally relevant, and way more impactful. Think of it this way. Context is like the destination you plug into your GPS. If you don't give it one, the AI just shows you a map of the entire world. But when you give it that context, you get precise, turn-by-turn directions to exactly where you need to go. So our chef has a role and all the right ingredients. Perfect. Now it's time to get really specific about the final dish. This is where we lay down the rules, what to do, what not to do, and exactly how you want it presented. And this really comes down to two sides of the same coin. On one side, you have instructions. These are your positive commands, like telling it to use a friendly tone. On the other side, you have constraints. These are the boundaries, like do not use technical jargon. A really effective prompt uses both to perfectly shape that final response. Now, beyond just the content, we also need to control the presentation. We call this output formatting, and it's all about controlling the structure of the answer. Because, let's face it, the most brilliant insights in the world are useless if they're just delivered as a giant, unreadable wall of text. And you can ask for pretty much any format you can think of. You want a clear plan? Ask for a step-by-step list. Need to compare a few options? Ask for a simple table. Just need the quick takeaways? Tell it to give you a bulleted list. You are in complete control of how that information gets delivered to you. So by setting all these rules, you are literally tailoring the AI's output to fit your specific needs perfectly. This is what transforms you from just a passive person asking questions into the actual director of the final product. Okay, we've covered the techniques, but now we get to what I think is the most important part, the mindset. This is what separates a good prompter from a great one. It's all about realizing this isn't a one-way command, it's a two-way dialogue. This quote right here, it just nails the whole idea of masterful prompting. Prompting is a conversation, not a one-time shot. You don't just send a recipe to the kitchen and then cross your fingers and hope for the best. No, you taste it, you give feedback, you ask for adjustments. And the best way to think about this process is as a loop. It's iterative. You start with your first ask, then you review the response, what's good, what's missing. Next, you refine your prompt with more detail or a new instruction, and then you just repeat the whole process. Each cycle gets you closer and closer to that perfect result. And this right here is the real secret. Don't obsess over getting it perfect on the first try. The skill isn't about writing one flawless prompt. It's the art of refining your questions based on what the AI gives you back. Every single response is just feedback that helps you ask a smarter question the next time. So let's do a super quick recap of our perfect recipe. First, give your AI chef a specific role. Second, provide that essential ingredient of context. Third, set clear rules for the dish, using instructions, constraints, and formatting. And finally, number 4, always remember to iterate. Treat it like a real conversation. And there you have it. That's the framework. This isn't some super complex technical skill. It's really a new way of thinking and communicating. You now have the complete recipe to go from getting those generic, boring answers to architecting truly masterful results from any AI you use. So, if prompting is really a conversation, and you're now equipped to have a much, much better one, the only question left is this. What new, more powerful, more interesting conversations are you going to start with AI? The kitchen is open.